In the heart of a bustling coastal town, where the tang of salt mingled with the cries of seagulls and the rhythm of the tide kept time with the daily lives of its people, there lived a humble man named Elias. Every day, from the first blush of dawn until the golden hour faded into twilight, Elias would set up his small stall at the fish market, a lively, crowded space where vendors shouted over one another, and the air was alive with the aroma of the sea. Elias's was not the grandest stall, nor did he possess the finest wares. Instead, he sold fish caught with care and skill, fish that he believed were gifts from the sea, meant to nourish both body and soul. Yet, despite his honest labor, Elias was often looked upon with disdain by those who deemed him too poor, too simple, or too unremarkable to command the respect he quietly deserved. Every morning, as he prepared his modest setup, Elias would hum a tune passed down by his father, a melody that spoke of hope, perseverance, and the unyielding spirit of a man who knew that even in the depths of hardship, there lay a spark waiting to be kindled. The market was a kaleidoscope of sights and sounds. Vendors haggling over the price of glistening fish, children darting between the stalls with unbridled energy, and the rhythmic clamor of life itself. Yet, amid this vibrant tapestry, Elias felt a persistent loneliness, a yearning for something more, a desire to be seen not merely as a poor fish seller, but as a man of worth and dignity. One fateful morning, when the skies were painted in hues of lavender and the ocean whispered secrets to the shore, Elias made a discovery that would forever alter the course of his life. As he sorted through his catch, a mix of silvery mackerel, plump sardines, and a few larger, robust specimens, he noticed something unusual glinting beneath the scales of a modest, unassuming fish. At first, he thought it a trick of the light or perhaps a shard of broken glass. But as he gently pried open the fish's delicate skin, his calloused fingers brushed against something smooth and cool. It was not a piece of debris from the shore, but an object of undeniable beauty, a rare, intricately carved medallion, encrusted with tiny flecks of what might have once been precious gems. Its design was ancient and mysterious, evoking images of long-forgotten civilizations and tales of valor and sacrifice. Elias's heart pounded with the force of 1,000 waves crashing against a rocky cliff. He cradled the medallion in his weathered hand, feeling the subtle pulse of a life that had transcended time. For a moment, the bustling market around him seemed to fade into a distant murmur, replaced by a profound silence that spoke of destiny and the hidden currents of fate. He could hardly believe his eyes. This was no mere trinket lost to the sea, but a treasure of immeasurable worth, both in material value and in the enigmatic story it carried. In that singular moment, as he stood there under the awakening sky, Elias felt as though the universe had reached out and touched him, whispering that his life was about to change in ways he had never imagined. With the medallion tucked safely in his pocket, Elias went about his day as usual, though a newfound fire burned within him. That evening, as the market began to empty and the sun dipped below the horizon in a blaze of orange and crimson, word of his discovery spread like wildfire through the narrow, winding streets of the town. Curious onlookers gathered around his humble stall, their eyes wide with disbelief and envy. For many, the medallion symbolized not just an extraordinary find, but the hope that one's fortunes could indeed change, even for a man like Elias who had spent his entire life at the bottom of society's ladder. News of the medallion soon reached the ears of local scholars and antiquarians, who recognized its potential significance. They explained that such artifacts were rare relics from an era when seafaring empires ruled vast stretches of the ocean, when legends were born on the rolling waves, and when every trinket told a story of heroism and honor. The medallion, with its delicate filigree and mysterious inscriptions, was believed to be a symbol of divine favor, a talisman that had, for centuries, been lost in the depths of history. To the learned few, it represented a bridge between the past and the present, a tangible reminder that even the humblest among us might be destined for greatness. As days turned into weeks, Elias's discovery began to transform not only his own life, but the entire fabric of the community. The once dismissed fish seller, who had long been the target of ridicule and scorn, found himself at the center of attention. People who had once sneered at his simple existence now approached him with reverence, seeking his blessing or hoping to catch a glimpse of the mysterious medallion. Elias, though overwhelmed by the sudden change in his fortunes, remained as humble and grounded as he had always been. He knew that the medallion was not a mere stroke of luck, but a sign, a divine message urging him to rise above the limitations that had once defined him. Inspired by the medallion's legacy, Elias began to see his life through a new lens. No longer was he just a fish seller relegated to the margins of society. He was a man with a destiny, a man who had been chosen by fate to bring about change, to restore dignity not only to himself but to the entire community. With this newfound purpose, he set out on a journey of self-improvement and reinvention. He used a portion of the medallion's monetary value, acquired after it was evaluated by experts, to invest in his small business. He improved his stall, diversified his offerings, and began to tell the story of the medallion to anyone who would listen. His narrative was one of hope and perseverance, a tale of how a single moment of fortune could catalyze an extraordinary transformation. As his reputation grew, so did his wealth and influence. The very same people who had once dismissed him as insignificant now flocked to his stall, eager to partake in the success that radiated from him like the first rays of dawn. Local businessmen, impressed by his integrity and his ability to turn adversity into opportunity, began to offer him partnerships and investments. Slowly but surely, Elias rose from the depths of poverty to a position of prominence. His once modest stall evolved into a thriving enterprise, a chain of fish markets that catered to both the common folk and the elite. The medallion, now a cherished heirloom, became a symbol of his journey, a reminder of the moment when fate had smiled upon him and changed his life forever. Yet, amidst the newfound wealth and acclaim, Elias never lost sight of the true lesson that the medallion had imparted. He understood that his success was not measured solely by the riches he had accumulated, but by the way he had transformed himself and his community. He became a benefactor to the poor, a mentor to the youth, and a beacon of hope to those who had long been marginalized. His once cruel critics, those who had sneered at his humble origins, were now forced to acknowledge the undeniable truth that greatness could emerge from the most unlikely of places, and that even a man who spent his days selling fish at a bustling market could become a catalyst for change. Elias's journey was not without its trials, however. As his influence grew, so did the envy and resentment of those who had long enjoyed their own positions of privilege. There were whispers of conspiracy, accusations of foul play, and plots to tarnish his hard-earned reputation. Yet, with every challenge, Elias's resolve only strengthened. He faced every obstacle with the quiet dignity of a man who knew that his true worth was not defined by the opinions of others, but by the depth of his character and the sincerity of his actions. The medallion had taught him that true wealth was not measured in coins or commodities, but in the strength of one's spirit and the capacity for compassion. In the years that followed, the transformation of Elias's life became the stuff of legend. His journey from poverty to prosperity was chronicled in newspapers, celebrated in local folklore, and even the subject of academic studies that marveled at the power of destiny and the human spirit. He established community programs to support education and entrepreneurship, and his fish markets became renowned for not only their quality produce, but also for their commitment to ethical business practices. People from far and wide traveled to witness the remarkable story of the man who had once been an outcast, only to emerge as a pillar of his community, a living testament to the idea that miracles can indeed happen when one dares to dream. But perhaps the most profound change was not in the external trappings of wealth and success, but in the way Elias saw the world and his place within it. No longer did he view his life as a series of unfortunate events or a string of missed opportunities. Instead, he came to understand that every hardship, every insult, every moment of despair had been a stepping stone on the path to his destiny. The medallion, with its ancient inscription and mysterious origin, had been the spark that ignited the flame of transformation in his soul. It taught him that the universe has a way of rewarding those who remain true to themselves, who persevere in the face of adversity, and who choose to see every setback as an opportunity for growth. As time passed, Elias continued to build on his success, not for the sake of vanity or personal gain, but as a way of giving back to the community that had once shunned him. He became a mentor to countless young entrepreneurs, a patron of the arts, and a champion of social justice. His life story was a moral parable, a living, breathing example of how kindness, perseverance, and an unwavering belief in one's own worth could overturn the cruelest of fates. The world that had once mocked and insulted him was now transformed into a community that celebrated his achievements, embraced his wisdom, and looked to him as a guiding light in times of darkness. Even as the years etched lines of experience upon his face, Elias never lost the spark that had set his destiny in motion. He often sat by the shore at sunset, meditating on the twists of fate that had brought him from the narrow alleys of poverty to the sunlit avenues of respect and admiration. In those quiet moments, as the waves whispered secrets to the sand and the sky blazed with the colors of hope, he would trace his fingers over the medallion, a small, yet potent reminder that life's greatest treasures often lie hidden in the most unassuming of places. And so, dear listener, as you travel through your own journey in this vast, unpredictable world, remember the tale of Elias, the fish seller who found his fortune not in the glimmer of gold, but in the rare, shining promise of a destiny fulfilled. His story is a testament to the enduring power of resilience, the transformative nature of hope, and the simple, yet profound truth that every person, no matter how humble their beginnings, carries within them the potential to change the world. In a society that often values wealth and status above all else, Elias's life reminds us that true riches are found in the strength of one's character, the depth of one's compassion, and the courage to rise after every fall. In the end, it is not the medallion alone that made Elias a man of honor and distinction. It was his unwavering belief in the possibility of redemption, his relentless pursuit of a better tomorrow, and his commitment to uplifting those who had once been forgotten. His journey teaches us that every insult, every hardship, and every moment of despair can be transformed into a stepping stone toward greatness. It is a story that will resonate in the hearts of generations to come, a timeless reminder that from the humblest beginnings can emerge the most extraordinary destinies. As you reflect on this tale, let it serve as a beacon of hope, a call to action, and a powerful affirmation that no matter how dark the night may seem, the promise of a new dawn is always on the horizon. For within each of us lies the capacity to transform our fate, to shatter the chains of doubt, and to embrace the boundless potential that awaits when we dare to believe in the magic of our own dreams. This is the story of Elias, a story of loss, of discovery, and ultimately, of a redemption that transcended the confines of the ordinary. It is a story that reminds us all, sometimes the most extraordinary treasures are hidden in plain sight, waiting for the moment when fate decides to reveal them to those bold enough to search with open hearts and unyielding determination. And so, let this tale be a guiding light as you navigate the labyrinth of your own life. Embrace your struggles, cherish your victories, and never, ever forget that even the most unremarkable beginnings can give rise to legends. For it is in the delicate interplay of fate and effort, of hardship and triumph, that the true beauty of life is revealed, a beauty that shines brightly, even in the darkest of times, illuminating the path to a future filled with hope, respect, and endless possibility.